Shockingly, because of how much I dislike Man of Steel, I really liked Man of Superman. I really liked Batman v Superman. Strictly
I got something out of
the
it.
ultimate cut.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that it was such a jump in quality as to be remarkable, to be a miracle even. For one, if I'm going to go purely by start off with the aesthetics again.
Yep.
Once again, the color saturation was much nicer. It had a much greater range of colors, and it managed to remain grim and dark and gritty whilst not being overtly ugly to me. They completely abandoned the shaky cam, snap zoom style and went back to a more traditional Zack Snyder style where there is not as much slow motion as there is in some Zack Snyder films, like 300, for instance.
Yeah.
The aesthetics were much more nicely done. The cinematography was a vast improvement.
Beautiful.
The way that the action scenes, especially Batman v Superman, the actual scene itself is done, is nice and snappy and feels very comic booky.
Same with the warehouse fight. The warehouse fight's ripped straight from the Arkham games.
Absolutely.
Brutal.
And
so good.
And with that actually, the aesthetics I only really need to touch on because I really liked the aesthetics. And the cities, the way that they were portrayed, felt correct because I'm much more familiar with Batman than I am with Superman, as many people probably are. And that brings me on to my main point of praise for this film, which is Affleck, a bit of a step down from his portrayal in this film.
Well, there's two kinds of Batman, and this is just so common in the comics. And this comes from someone who's trying to reconcile DC's chronological
Batman,
timeline.
and Justice League
Justice League Batman is completely... Yeah, and actually, I think they did a great job in balancing the two across the two films. But if you're going to say which was the stronger Batman portrayal, you got more Batman moments in Batman v Superman. And I think Ben Affleck gave the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, Ben Affleck both had the charm and charisma of Bruce Wayne that you would expect. I can understand how he would be a bit of a lady killer when he's undercover sneaking around Lex Luthor's house, for instance. And he also has the massively physically intimidating presence.
He got in great shape.
Yeah, he did get in fantastic shape. And even in the bat suit, he looks big and bulky and intimidating. He's the kind of guy, yes, this man would strike fear into the hearts of criminals, as he should. And I even think he reminds me a little bit. Obviously, the direct comparison, the direct inspiration for it would be The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller's classic 80s comic. But I even think he reminds me a little bit of Jim Lee's Batman from the first few issues of Hush. Because Jim Lee has commented, as he was drawing Hush, he progressively made Batman slimmer and slimmer. But in the first issue of Hush, I think it's when he goes up against Killer Croc in the sewers, Batman looks immense in that he's huge, he's intimidating, he has a real presence, and I think that's kind of portrayed very well here and in Batman v Superman. And just to get it out of the way, Batman murders a lot of people in this film, and rightfully so. I actually have no issue with this whatsoever. For the context of where Batman's character is, he's been doing it for 20 years, people have turned on him.
Which I don't like. I hate it, but it didn't get done. So we're okay with that.
No, that's fine. The fact that Robin has died under his watch, the fact that the city hasn't gotten any better since...
Catwoman's divorced him off screen.
Oh, really?
It was going to be Carla Gugino.
Who's that?
Silk Spectre 1.
I'm going to have
From
to...
Watchmen. The original Silk Spectre.
Oh, her!
Yeah, the hot one.
But fair play.
Yep.
Well, yeah, everything within the film, for me, perfectly lines up with the fact that this is an older, more brutal Batman, same as he is in The Dark Knight Returns, except in The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller covers it by going, it's rubber bullets, I swear, guys. It's like, we're not killing anybody.
Well, no, he actually does. That's the thing. But I think he has the same justification. So in Dark Knight Returns, you see the panel, so they recreate it with a machine gun, right at the end, where he shoots the gas tank.
Yes, that was a direct, almost panel-to-panel recreation.
But and Snyder's spoken about that, and that's something that explodes, and that's the criminal's fault. In Dark Knight Returns, he blows the guy's head out, but obviously it turns grey. And Batman's text boxes throughout the story are always grey. So it's him post-rationalising, justifying it. Same with Joker. When he does the Joker neck snap, he sits around talking to Joker for quite a while. And then Joker somehow snaps his own neck. Bollocks. Because Joker's speech bubbles aren't green, they're grey.
No, see, I do like in The Dark Knight Returns how it's depicted. I've never got that impression just because I do just like the idea of Joker being so vindictive against Batman that he will snap his own neck just to make it look, to prove a point and to make it look to the police like you murdered him.
True, and it's nice, but that's definitely not what Miller was implying with the new text box colors.
Well, that's I always took that scene very literally, but yes. Yeah. Batfleck is fantastic. I like his use of firearms throughout this because I can see, if I went through everything the Batman went through and did it for 20 years and saw no discernible improvement in the city that I'm trying to protect, and then also noticed that a lot of the people that I put in Arkham tend to immediately break out and start murdering people again, and then they murder people that I consider family and really care for, maybe my no-gun rule is going to go out the window. Maybe I'm going to take on a little bit more of a Punisher persona. Well, but there's also, with that, an interesting internal conflict because Alfred is really portraying his conscience throughout this, throughout this film, where Alfred is consistently saying, it's not like how things used to be. You've turned dark. This is the stuff that makes good men
cruel.
Yeah, good men cruel. And that's definitely what Batman is throughout this film. I will say I don't understand the logistics of him branding people and them getting murdered in prison, just because I don't understand why the people in prison murder them.
Basically, it looks like he's almost like, how pedophiles will get killed in prison because loads of prisoners have been touched funny as kids, straight on your shoulder.
Well, I suppose maybe that does suggest something about the crimes that they've committed to get branded in the first place, so that's fair. But yeah, I really like the portrayal of the brutal Batman. I think it works well against Superman in this film, so yeah, I mean, he's fantastic in the role. He actually fits the character, unlike some of the other people who've been cast as him.
Robert Pattinson.
I did like Robert Pattinson's. I think Val Kilmer is the most egregious
example.
Kilmer
George Clooney. Val Kilmer could have been a good Batman, but that movie is just terrible.
Yes. So yeah, Batman just works for me. Superman, I would say, works for me much better than he did in the first one, if only because we do get a little bit more of him. Being hopeful. We don't get the backstory dragging his character down. Once again, though, Henry Cavill is brilliant. I do think he doesn't get as much to work with as I would like. I think I looked it up. I like watching films and then immediately going to the IMDb trivia. I'm sure you probably do this as well. And they point out he only has 42 lines of dialogue throughout the entire film, even in the ultimate cut. And I do think, once again, fleshing out his character, especially his relationship with Lois, a little bit more, because there is a big jump in the 18 months between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, where they've gone from the first kiss at the end of Man of Steel when he saved her a few times. That's fine, whatever, I can understand in the heat of the moment, passions run high, but then they're immediately into, they've been in a relationship for a while, they love each other, etc. I would have liked to have seen the development of their relationship, especially given that they don't have that many scenes together in this film either. I do still have issues with this film, but they're nowhere near as bad as Man of Steel, and I do think Batfleck really elevates it, really does elevate it above other things. But I'll move it over to you so you can address the things that you obviously want to talk about.
Well, no, I was gonna mainly ask you about the issues, just because there are a lot of common criticisms of this film, and it feels like we need to do a bit of myth busting, because there is a notoriously low Rotten Tomatoes rating, which even Zack Snyder has said, 28%. That didn't seem too fair.
Wait. Who is that? The audience or critic score?
That's critic score.
Well, who cares?
Unsurprising.
Who cares about what the critics
say?
But
that is unfairly brutal. Shockingly so. And so...
well, once again, it wasn't pushing any agenda messages in the film.
Actually, I think it was.
Oh, really? Because I didn't pick up on anything, really.
Early 2016. Isn't that just a really interesting coincidence? Capitol Hill gets attacked. They're lynching images of Superman in the middle of the street and burning them. You've got the actual shaved head SJW protesters saying no home for aliens. They're protesting the symbol of Americana. You got Jon Stewart saying, is it too obvious to wear the Constitution as a cape? All this sort of sarky media circus going around it. It's pretty interesting for the state of America.
I mean, that's fair as social commentary. I was more seeing all of that stuff as being a callback to the way that Frank Miller portrays a lot of the media throughout the Dark Knight Returns as well.
That was intentionally,
That's all very interesting, and I hadn't really considered it in that sense. Obviously, there was, an attack on the Capitol building was a little bit prescient.
It wasn't it wasn't this one was a bombing, the other one was a guided tour where the feds let you in. But yeah, sure. I just think it was accidentally prophetic, and it's just quite interesting to watch it with hindsight.
Yeah.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.